Welcome back, everybody. This is Brothermutant here. Today we're going to continue on our journey in the Darkest Dungeon. However, we're going to deviate slightly. Now, I have, of course, the original campaign that we've been running. You can see we're only at week 17. We're having fun, it's doing well, and we're certainly going to go forward. However, I have been working on another one just to get an idea of what this farmstead is all about. So I actually have a save file for it. And you can see we're actually well into this one. And I wanted to show you a little bit about a farmstead run to show you what this actually entails.
Victim. The seasons took his livelihood. I took his land. And now, uncountable years later, the comet has taken his humanity. My only regret is that I did not live to see that shoddy mill smashed to pieces by the miraculous bounty I reaped from beyond the void.
Yeah. The reason I'm bringing this to you guys' attention is, I did this once before, but the video didn't actually record properly. This was, again, because of an update to my driver that I clicked on by mistake. Fixed it since then. Happy to have fixed it. However, here we are in the middle of a run. Now, this is with the newest patch, too, by the way. So this run got modified halfway through it. I was about 100 and some into it, and now it's at 248. I actually do like some of the changes that they've done, so I'll actually talk a little bit about that. One of the biggest ones is that you actually see the level up here, as well as how far you've, how many kills you have, I should say. Notice how you see your reward if you hover over it still. So at low levels, early kills, you'll get nothing to very minimal amount of loot. And that's not counting, of course, the stuff that you pick up, like these crystals and memories, of course, which are extremely valuable, as you'll find out later. You get nice trinket drops. All of these have been dropped with the exception of my virtue ring here. The hero's ring is actually why I'm actually as far as I am. This is how people have been, quote-unquote, cheesing it. You basically put on this ring, you get a 25% bump to your virtue chance. And if you are lucky enough to have another trinket that increases it even further, that's even better. What this basically does is it takes, when you go to 100% stress, you have a virtue chance roll. Now you can either be virtuous, which is the white halo that you see around the characters, and different kinds exist. So you're stalwart for these two characters, as well as powerful for these two characters. But if you're not a positive interaction, you're the negative interaction. This is where they all freak out, they start hurting themselves, stressing out the rest of your team with their claptrap, and basically cause you problems until you pull their stress back down to 0. These ones provide benefits to the character, as well as random buffs to themselves, to others on the team, as you'll see. The way to get the virtue to work is basically you pick a character. In this case, I think I went with our Renal type Crusader here, and let him stress out to 100, keeping everyone else's stress extremely low. When he gets to 100, if he gets the positive affliction, which he did, in this case he's powerful, he heals some of his stress, and he will always have this effect until he stresses out to 200. So it's important you don't let them get up to 200 ever again, because it will peel this off, it'll peel all the stress off them, which is kind of nice, because I actually thought they'd have a heart attack, but it didn't do that. I had to build them back up. I think it was actually this character. Point is you can make it go south. So be careful. Keep their stress low after you get the positive effect. You can take it all the way back to 0, and they'll still have the effect. That's nice. From there, you beat your wave. When you get back to a room where you can start swapping out trinkets, you take off his virtue ring and swap it to another character, and then let them stress out, and repeat the process until you have all 4 characters with some sort of positive effect. Then I took the ring off because we were getting trinkets that I could slap into the characters, as you'll see. I brought these ones with me. This one was the one that I kept swapping out between characters because everyone can use more healing, incoming healing. So if they didn't have a spare slot available, it's because they probably had the virtue ring on them. Again, something that any character can have. We got them up to this level. We've been yo-yoing back and forth. Like, I just recently got these guys down. These two were actually at like 100% stress and more. And working their way towards 200, and I had to peel them back. I got very lucky with a couple of runs, a couple of levels, intermediate levels, and managed to pull them back down. But they can jump in a heartbeat like no one's business. And as you can see, they're already stressing out again from this little interaction from a monster from the last fight. Now this is the first fight in this wave, And they gave us a giant to fight with, as well as some Nashers. We have one character that is afflicted with a disease. That is the real limit to this party, as I have no disease cure. So, before we go into the actual fighting and what we're going to do here, give you some thoughts about what this endless run is basically about, the endless harvest. Basically, it's more of a goal. How high can you get, really? And they've fixed some things, and again, I'm happy about some of the changes, not all. Some of the changes are they've ramped up the difficulty of the monsters the farther you go in, which is fine. It should be a challenge. You shouldn't run on forever. I understand that. There are buffs that people were exploiting, which I do too, that literally are quest-wide buffs, which like literally a quest for this game is just until you go into another damn room. It's not quest, battle. There we go. Battle level buffs. What they've done is they've made it where the battle level buffs can't be used every battle. So this entire run here, from here to here, to get these crystals, to fight the last boss at the end of this wave, if you will, you have 4 stops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 stops to get to the main boss. Now, I normally was able to employ that buff on him. For example, you'll see one that allows him to increase his protection, and that would last the entire fight from here to here, which is like perhaps 10 monsters that you have to kill. And then it would wear off. We'd go to the room, heal up if possible, stress relief if possible, maybe camp, maybe get some treasure, and then come in and start wave 2, part 2 of this wave. And then I could reactivate that buff. Now I cannot do that. I have to pick which one of these I want to use that buff. Obviously, it would be the buff for protection. You're going to want to use it more likely than not for your boss fight, which really screws a lot of people. That's okay. There are other buffs that are temp buffs. Like he's amazing for this, and that's why he's so incredibly valuable for 2 reasons. One, his ability to buff the team, himself included, for accuracy, accuracy, speed, and crit chance is ridiculous, and he can just keep applying it, stacking it like crazy. He also has a really good single target stress relief move for himself or anyone else on the team, which is why he's invaluable. Now, she has self buffs. He has a kind of a self buff when he transforms. He has a rake move that allows further rake attacks to do more damage. And that stacks like 3 times, maybe 2, 3, 4 times. Same with his buffs. They can, if you just keep repeating them, wasting his turn, so to speak. Instead of attacking or stress healing, he can literally stack that buff on the whole team again, and can do that 1 to 4 times. So really nice. He has no buffs except for that battle buff that I can think of, and that's fine. But again, now it's been nerfed in the way that I have to choose when to use it. She's useful. I can't ever imagine doing an endless run without a proper healer. Having said that, there are other healers in the game that are useful. Crusader can heal. He can stress heal and heal, so he's helpful as well. Not as good as him, not as good as her, but he has his moments. He and the Jester have been enough to keep my stress reasonably low. This character has a self-heal and a self-stress heal, much like the Leper. Again, extremely useful. But what's missing from the party is a couple of really important things. I have blights, I have bleeds, I have good crit damage / tankiness, I have stress healing, I have good healing, AoE healing. I do not have a camping skill that allow me to take off the Death's Door recovery. I do on him. It allows him to take it off of any of his allies. He was just recently afflicted I was going to call him the Leper. The Abomination had one just a little bit ago. We camped out, and I used his camping skill to remove it. It's not horrible once they've recovered, but it is the entire quest now until we literally remove it. The only way to do that is with a camping skill that I know of. He has one, but he can't do it off of himself. Fortunately, he's never been that low. But if he got this affliction, he cannot cure it from himself, which really kind of screws the pooch. So you either need 2 Crusaders or a Crusader, and I think the only other person that has a Death's Door recovery removal camping skill is the Occultist, if I'm not mistaken. So you want an Occultist and or a Crusader on your party if this is something of concern. You'll want a healer of some kind on your party. Dedicated healer, they can do damage and whatever, but at the very least, good single target heals, good AoE heals, which is why she's the only one that of any real merit. There is the Flagellant who can heal himself and another at the same time under certain conditions. It's not the same as her, but it's helpful. I mean, it's not like it would be an impossible run. There is no bleed or blight cures on this team, so Plague Doctor. But again, that's the other thing that's missing from here, is the ability to remove diseases, because the longer you go, the more likely you are to have diseases racked up on all of your team, multiples in some cases. The way to remove that is to have someone that camps out and removes those. The two people that can do that are Plague Doctors and Grave Robber with a snuff box, I believe. From there, again, blights are helpful sometimes, bleeds are helpful sometimes. Straight up damage is always useful. There's nothing ever wrong with that. But sometimes the characters have so much protection that they literally need either something that penetrates them. So we're talking like Grave Robber with their pickaxe, or what's that new character? The Shield Breaker has good penetration ability and can give that as a camping skill to her teammates. You know, a small amount of it. That's helpful for penetrating those high protection characters. Stress relief, of course, is important. Healing is important. Riposte is nice. Don't get me wrong. And there are plenty of instances when AoE moves are going to hit the team. 1 or 2 riposters on the team are amazing. So I could see bringing, you know, Dismas type character, a highwayman. I can see bringing a, what's the other one that does riposte? Not Shield Breaker. Oh, it's going to come to me. The Man-at-Arms. Man-at-Arms is extremely useful for a couple things. A, he's almost a tank, not as good as him, not as good as the Leper. It's kind of hard to get past the Leper. I mean, this guy's honestly a poor man's Leper. But he has other uses, that's why I'm trying him. The Man-at-Arms has a guard ability. Man-at-Arms has team buffs, one of which is a buff that is literally for the battle, so again, nerfed in the way that you have to pick when to use it. But another buff, much like him, that buffs the team's accuracy and other stuff, also has debuffs for the bad guys. So he is a very utilitarian type of character. Yeah, he can do some damage, but he has other things that he can do. So he's interesting. But his ability to riposte or the Highwayman's ability to riposte can be helpful. Now, there are good ways, I'd say, to make sure that you are having one of the better runs. Crit chance is a biggie. Dodge is going to be extremely useful, but eventually will wear itself out. But crits, on the other hand, accuracy and crit is almost always the way to go, which is why he is so incredibly valuable. Again, there are other characters that buff crit or accuracy, but what I'm saying is something like him at least has to be on the team. A stress reliever proper, or at the very least, every teammate has the ability to do their own stress relief. That's a viable option, / heal. So you don't have to have a dedicated healer. The downside of that is you hit the death's door and you have a blight or a bleed on you. You better hope you make that death throw save so that you can heal and get off of death's door. Otherwise, you're a screwed pooch. Which is why having at least someone who can heal anybody, even if it's for a point, is enough to get them off of death's door, so that when they tick back down, they can self-heal and hopefully get over it, so to speak. There are any number of team compositions that people have tried. I'm certainly not trying all of them, but I like this one. This one has been very helpful. The AoE damage from him and him, the blight damage and the bleed damage to the same character ranks, position 2 and 3, are extremely helpful. I've blighted and bled ridiculous amount of damage off of heavy hitting targets like this one. So let's actually start, shall we? But we'll talk more while we fight. You see that my hit chance is pretty high. He has been buffed for 2 more battles. He has protection, plus 20 accuracy, and that came from her and him giving him a buff. He's my main hitter. I mean, he's nice single target damage, but he's my heavy hitter for anything, really. He has good crit chance, good dodge, an increased damage that's coming from self buffs, teammate wide buffs because of this powerful effect. Extremely useful. And he has increased speed thanks to him. He has increased accuracy and crit thanks to him. He has blight resistance. That's probably because I popped something. herb or anti-venom or some such. I think I have that buff on one of those town buildings that allow them to provide us a short-term buff. So he's doing good for himself. He has, of course, that rake damage. You see down there, plus 25% damage for 3 rounds for every rake attack. That's when he transforms. We are not going to transform yet, because A, it'll stress people out, but B, it's more for me being able to hit position 1 and 2 for 2 targets, not one big heavy target. In this case, I can hit 2 targets with his Beast Bile move, his Blight move.
Devastating blow.
Nice crit. A little stress relief for me as well. Nice Blight on him. Nice Blight on the doggy. We have a little bit of a bleed, no concern. This is that move I was telling you about that got slightly nerfed. Again, use is remaining 1. We can use it once, but we won't be able to use it then again until we beat the boss way the hell down here. So, kind of sucky. Because that was an extremely nice buff, and the leper has something extremely similar. So, those uses, those are the changes to this endless run that they've just recently employed. It's kind of a shame. I do like his Inspiring Cry for its ability to heal someone off of death's door, as well as to provide a little bit of stress relief for anybody that might need it. It saved his bacon more than enough times, keeping him from bleeding out. He likes to get hit, so it has been helpful. I, of course, am a fan of the smiting. Good damage. Not like leper level damage, but he's still pretty darn tough. Here comes some more bleeds for me. See, here's his effect from being stalwart. Not only do they get a lot of buffs as far as like from being virtuous, usually they get buffs here. Let's actually open up my character sheet. You'll see that the stun is higher than normal because of the virtue. The blight resistance is higher than normal because of the virtue. So the same with the disease resistance. It's not capped out. I can still get diseased, but his ability to be blighted is extremely unlikely. Same with bleeding. Pretty good chance we probably won't get it. But the virtue really provides buffs for damn near everything. Not a little bit for death blow even. This is the only one. Yeah, that's right. This is the only one that provides death blow increases to resistance. So that's kind of nice. It's not the best one earlier because again I've yo-yoed in and out of this endless run multiple times. I had once where I did the virtue cheese and I had 4 different effects. So one was stalwart, one was powerful. I had a character that was self-healing, and it was literally my crusader up front. He was like a godly beast of hell, couldn't be killed. I had someone that was powerful. I want to say it was the Vestal, that she was just teammate buffing across the board. Like she'd randomly cry something out, and they would each get 25% damage increase for these 3 guys. And the virtue by itself, also, which is powerful here, also provides the character who is powerful that natural 25% damage buff, if I'm not mistaken, all the time. So it's not like she's buffing the team and leaving herself out. She had the buff all the time. She would just randomly buff these guys, and sometimes she would stack it. It was amazing. Of course, I had the stalwart, so people was stress healing. I want to say that was actually on the stress healer, so he never really had to use his moves on himself to stress heal. Rarely I did, just to pull it back down because there was nothing else to do. But by and large, he was self-healing the stress on his own. So again, I had a lot of really cool stuff going on. I think Vigorous was one where they were self-healing, and that it was on him. So it was really weird and a very good party. But we got not party wiped. I left before we got party wiped. We had a death in the family. What was it? The Crusader, the Abomination probably got bitch slapped like with a double crit back to back and just died on me. It's a shame. But again, here we are back again, slightly different trinkets, trying some new stuff out to see what we can do. This guy has moved in a way now that the only real viable move for attacking is this one. He is bleed sensitive, but he doesn't really have a really good bleed chance, I've been noticing. Despite the fact that it's 140 and looks pretty good, and he probably will bleed him. I have had a lot of characters where they're attacking where they had like 80% bleed chance. I had better than a coin toss. I've attacked multiple times with my Jester, and they just don't seem to bleed, which is a shame. I could stress heal, which I'm not going to do, but I got this buff that's been wearing off of people because it only lasts for 4 rounds every time you activate it. So before it wears off, like he doesn't have it anymore. She still has it. You see she has 1 round left of speed, accuracy, and crit. Again, that's from him, from his battle bag. So I reapply it, basically make sure hers A stacks.
Beyond one's limits.
And everyone else has at least 4 rounds with the regular buff. So that accuracy buff is extremely helpful. Now she can attack, sure. She has stress, she's got her own problems, but we have healing to do. And this is the reason you almost want to bring her, because of the AoE. That sucks. I really wish that if they dodged, two key characters dodged it, the other 2 characters would just shuffle between themselves, but whatever. Now I could stress heal him, I could transform, and then it's also useless. So I basically just want to move. He's in the exact wrong spot, and I don't have his finale finishing move that allows him to zoom back on. I've been alternating in between using the bleed moves and those dirk stab / finale moves, which has been helpful. Him jogging around has been useful, but the problem is when he transforms, he jogs too. So they kind of interchange between themselves doing less than ideal moves, which is kind of sucky, which is why I kind of switched. But this guy has enough movement that he can just switch on back, no problem. He was wasting a turn doing it. There's her effect, healing itself for 15 stress. That's the stalwart effect. They will randomly do that. These guys have rarely been a problem with stress. I mean, it'll pile on them, but I've had him go up to 100 and almost go all the way back down just from those little moves activating. So again, extremely helpful in this particular instance. We have people that are wounded. You know, he's got damage coming in. He's got really bad damage coming in, but he's not so damaged right now that it needs to be addressed. This character needs to die, I'd say.
A death by inches.
It's very nice. Okay, again, he is afflicted. His stress is finally peeled off him, that stress over time move. He is taking damage and he is bleeding, and I'm running out of supplies. I am going out of my way to use them up, because what's the point in keeping them forever if you're going to bail out of here and never use these things? So if he needs them, I will use them like the anti-venom. But I've been kind of hoarding for a while. You saw that everyone had like a stress dot when we started this mess. I could have used the laudanum on any or all of them to get rid of it. But again, I was hoarding, waiting for that one where I get like double hit with the same thing, where I have like a 9 every tick for stress. That's the time I would use the laudanum, or 6, maybe even every round. Again, he does good straight up damage. He does have an AoE move, a lane 1 and lane 2 move, which again is subpar to the leper, in that the damage is less. However, the accuracy is better. So kind of, you know, who do you want? You want a heavy hitting guy who's going to miss sometimes unless you buff him? Or do you want a guy that doesn't even really need those buffs for accuracy, which this guy's providing? So, again, I like to keep those stacks. I could pile on that Blight. It is doing a lot of damage despite what it looks. That 5 tick every time is extremely impressive. If I hit him with this, 7 to 12 damage instantly, sure, if it hits. And of course a chance to crit, but the stun is unlikely, and I actually have a better move. Transformation. So here's our change. Notice when you change, you of course heal yourself too, which is always extremely helpful. Here's the rake move. Now it's not buffed anymore. Oh, sorry, we're still buffed. We have 1 round of it. So we're actually doing more damage than we would normally do, 11 to 20 for each character. And then it'll reapply that 25% damage buff, and you can restack it. So
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
I'm remembering not to click stuff before I finish talking, because William's going to interrupt. So again, he reapplied it. Now notice it lasts for 3 rounds. So I can stack it, if I want to say 2 to 3 times. So that 25% damage can really get up there with him. I have toyed around with having a Battle Vestal in his position, where she is basically using her AoE heal move. Here, let's actually open her skills. Her AoE heal move. This one is not even on her loadout bar, because she can't use it in position 2. I mean, yeah, you could shuffle her around, but that's kind of defeating the purpose. I had left her a move to attack in the back ranks in case she gets shuffled, something like Judgment. But in position 2, she can use Illumination, and she can also use not only Mace Bash, but also Hand of Light. Notice how Hand of Light buffs her for accuracy and damage every time she uses it. And again, it's like his move where it buffs for like 3 rounds, so you can only stack it 2 or 3 times, but that gives her a decent amount of damage and a decent amount of accuracy while attacking at the same time. So 2 birds, 1 stone kind of thing. Her damage is not amazing, but you can buff it with trinkets, of course, so you can make her viable. Not great. It almost depends on how you have your quirks set up, bad ones versus good ones, and the type of trinkets that you load out to make these characters viable in any situation. I've yet to try an Occultist in the upper ranks. His hit or miss spotty healing, while amazing for the amount of healing it can do, can also do 0 as well as bleed people, which pisses me off. But he is potent. He does do damage, but his health sucks. He's real weak in my estimation because of that. Again, you can buff that a variety of ways: quirks, trinkets, teammate support, keeping his health up. But you can see once you get diseases, it kind of screws everybody over. And I can't cure this, so this is why this this iteration of the Endless Harvest is probably doomed for failure, because I have no ability to remove that disease. So you need either, again, that Grave Robber and or a Plague Doctor. Plague Doctor can cure themselves. The Plague Doctor with the camping skill, the Plague Doctor can cure anyone else on the team with another skill. The Grave Robber can cure themselves and another teammate with just 1 skill. Extremely useful, but they can't heal like the Grave Robber can. They can't cure blights or bleeds like anyone else like the Plague Doctor can. They can't cure it on themselves, but it's a 1-hit wonder. So again,
the wounds of
party
war
compositions
can be healed, but never hidden.
We've been fortunate that he hasn't bitch slapped the hell out of us. Now that's his buff, which is coming off of being powerful, where he just gave everyone else like a 10%, 20%, 25% damage bump for these 3 characters. He will also scream something else out that will do the same thing for her, the Jester, and then the Crusader. So between the 2 of them, they can buff us for ridiculous amounts of damage crits, or damage potential. So that's always nice. Oh, there it is.
To body and brain.
Oh, there's a death door. Man, I just got him off that thing too. You stink. Okay, well, here he heals his stress. 18, very nice. We're gonna do some damage. Get lucky here. We're trying to take some of these guys lucky. I can't heal him. I can heal him by transforming down. I have the potential to kill these 2 before they do damage, and maybe that's the way to go and let her or him heal him. We do have speed buffs, and this guy is particularly slow, so if we kill both these guys off before they have a chance to swing at him, I might be able to pull this off and keep him in.
Obliterated.
There we go. He's still on death's door though, so I gotta get a heal in. Thank you. Nice. Concentrated heal. He'll still get bitch slapped with 1 hit from this guy. That penalty is not horrible. I try to get rid of him if I can, because it's a negative effect. And they can continue to heal. Oh, that's a nice crit. Yeah, see, 1 and 2 people got hit, but 4 people got shuffled. I think that's piss. Alright, he needs to move. Yes, that's a problem for him, but he can attack. Actually, let's go like that. Because then he needs to... She has a move that can hit this thing and kill it. And she does. Oh, not enough. That's sucky. Good dodge for her, though. The explosion, though. It's gonna hurt. Oh, I went too bad. I've had... Oh, well, that sucks.
Returns.
That's why
The
that's...
boldest gaze.
And now here's where, when these 2 guys are in position 2 and 3, and he jumps forward with Dirk Stab to here, and then he gets shuffled back, or they basically keep exchanging the same moves. Dirk stab, slam, dirk stab, slam. Slam is not the best move you can do.
A
We're going to
decisive
do it.
pummeling.
I want to be able to attack without changing back. She needs to slide back anyway. He'll jump forward with his move. He's stuck basically team buffing. But that's okay. We need the speed advantage. So I'm okay with that. She needs to be able to slide back. Now he can jump in front. And these guys are reasonably where they need to be.
The bigger the beast,
Yes.
the greater the
Really
glory.
helpful. Stress relief as well. Confusing spores,
Reeling.
man. Come on, you're killing me, you balls. You're goddamn killing me. Stress is starting to pile. So because we've just buffed last turn, make sure the monster that's always stressing himself out anyway. Yeah. Team buff. Thank you, sir. That's his other stress. That is how he does. That he's coming back down slowly. I am going to take the opportunity to team heal. Again, this would be the battle vessel's position in my opinion. Yes. Okay, let's buff up. There we go. That's very nice. He keeps stacking that up, man. These guys really get some nice damage increases when they attack. Again, I am self-buffing for the rake damage every time I use the rake move. It is subpar move because it does 50% less damage. But if you keep stacking, the rake eventually gets to the point where even if it's single target, it's still doing pretty good damage, and the crit mod is plus 1%. It's not great. If I was smart, which I am, I would honestly be using single target damage. I'll be doing rage. This thing does same accuracy? No, slightly less accuracy, but we got accuracy buffs up to yin yang here, so I'm not particularly concerned with that. Notice how my hit chance is still 95%. I can always hit back in position 3 with this move, which is why this one is invaluable. But the crit chance, the crit modifier, is plus 11.5%, so a really good crit chance. So let's try it out with this one.
Singular
Nice.
strike.
Just brutal damage is this guy, man. He's not leper material, but the leper can't hit no position 3 like that. So, you know, just saying, there's good and then there's this guy. So they're kind of... I need to get back so she can do a single target. Go. Team buff for everyone else. So I'm telling you, these guys working in tandem. I am going to take this opportunity and heal, / stress heal. Because this guy, while he's going to be a problem, I can't kill him with one swing anyway. This guy's going to be a problem. Yeah, 26. And if I hadn't healed him, he may have went back down to death's door, and I don't like that.
Monster's
That's one of the reasons
size
to kill that
has
guy.
no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
Give my Crusader a little stress heal. Single target it, baby. Come on, get him back up on his feet. Nice. Time to do damage. Nice single hit without a crit. 29, I'll take that. Okay. Nice resist. Now here's our real problem. Our ability to hit this back rank is extremely good.
Another one falls.
Fortunately, he's changed so he can. He can't. She can. So let's actually make sure her accuracy is up. Because remember, she has a disease. I think that penalizes her accuracy. Nice. And we got a hit with judgment.
Back to the pit.
Nice heal too. We'll take that. And just keep working him down. He can take those beatings. It's not great. You don't have the full protection he needs. The buff from camping skill from her has given him 15% for 2 more battles. He also has a ring on that gives him not only plus 10 accuracy, but plus 10 protection, I want to say. That's been helpful, especially with that new nerf of his ability to buff his protection. Kind of screwed Get that accuracy stuff up. Maybe
compassion is
heal.
a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
It's good solid damage. I mean, it's not that they're not doing good solid damage. I think he healed a little more. Can't take a beating, but he needs help.
Such a terrible assault
Dude, stop
cannot be
with this
left
crap.
unanswered.
That's just my ability to heal. Huh, he's gonna fix it. Thank you. That was so sweet of you. Dumbass. It's like when they, you got a blight on target that's gonna kill him, right? He's definitely gonna die from the blight next turn. No one can heal him on the party. He's definitely toast. And then someone on the party buffs his damage. Good job. I love this stupid shit like that. Alright, here we go. Getting some stress down. He needs to finally switch so he can finally attack him, because them bleeds are extremely helpful, and these guys are set for bleeds.
Powerful blow.
And I'll take crits all day long in position 3. She has this move, by the way, for when they do shuffle around a little bit. I probably should swap it out for something more useful. It's only real useful when he does Dirk Stab and it does his finale move, which slides him all the way back and which usually moves her to where she's at. This move, though, is extremely useful then for that de-stealthing ability, but no one has that. So we can just straight up crush stuff. In fact, we probably should. Oh, I was hoping for a kill. Point away, really? Alright, heal yourself. I'm not stressed as well as where Smackdown's gonna hit you in the face. Oh, 22 damage. Alright. Poison spore, that's not bad. He dodged it. Nice. Anyway, my general take on this is not only is this ridiculously mind-numbingly fun, to think of endless compositions and try them, make them work in ways that you wouldn't think. I've seen people on YouTube already do like a 4 antiquarian run where they're self-buffing each other's dodge, like through the goddamn roof thing. They may not do a lot of damage, but they can't be touched, man. It's super funny. Now, sure, it took them forever and an eternity to get to that, but
Victory.
I think it's funny that they tried it
Point.
and made it work. Certainly, RNGesus is going to be a big point in your favor if you know he's on your side. Maybe he'll help you. Oh, nice crit. Case in point. These guys could be, pre-ranch Smackdown like every round and screwed me completely at this point, and they have not. More buffage.
Executed with impunity.
I love how you kill the crystals and you get a little healing from it.
Be gone, fiend.
Extremely helpful. Use that killing the first 2 targets with him to great effect for healing him. Keep up that healing since the healer had useless shit on her turn.
Mortality clarified in a single
Really keep that
strike.
wave. This is probably the last target to kill in this wave too, so we really have to kill one of these guys. And not shoot a single target.
Well struck.
Not to take the guy up front, that way everyone can swing at him. A single target heal. He needs it. Okay. 19's not bad, not great. Except for when it was my favorite. Oh, that hurt though. Alright, let's see. Nice crit. Do your job. Get him on his feet. And again, this is where, do we do damage? Well, he does decent damage. And we throw that bleed on top of it.
Blood quickens.
And he will be the reason that this guy dies. And that too. Oh, that's nice. He is dead.
Slowly,
Yeah, yes.
gently.
But he still gets a charge.
This is how a life is taken.
Yep. And there it is. Oh, wow. Left me with one for a change. Go team. The monster hasn't shown up. The teleport's out of here, so we're gonna go through the motions of fighting. But clearly not going to kill him this round, and then the teleport will probably show up next turn. Is my guess. Just do our best to protect from the incoming attack. Let me see this when I really need to heal. Hit him. Okay. It's not great. Here's the problem. They always get first turn. But we did not have any kind of camping, any interaction with us positive. So we have to use the food. Fortunately, we heal well. He has minor penalty for 1 round. That's nothing I need to worry about using an herb on. Let's actually just make sure these guys are healed up, because we never know when we're going to get biatch slapped.
Reality regained.
Oh, this would be a good way to start. So, I'm going to stress heal, because I'm going to use him to transform and do first and second target damage. Well, yes, it's a little bit of stress, a little more than a little bit, but this raking maneuver here has been invaluable for making sure stuff just dies super fast. Throw in some much needed accuracy, crit, and speed buffs. He almost always acts first and just like destroys those guys. I'm going to make sure his health is up. Yes, stress is going to be a problem with these guys, but they can do damage too. Blights are a problem, as well as when they do that ceaseless labor where they crush you with that big pickaxe. Yeah, that's okay. She will stress heal that anyway, just randomly. So, yeah, that move there can really do some damage sometimes.
Press this advantage.
There we
Give
go.
them no quarter. As the fiend falls, a faint hope
Nice.
blossoms.
Stress heal. Alright, so we buffed 1 turn. Usually I like to try to alternate, especially when I have a character that really needs that stress relief. This is where his double damage can come in handy. Meaning him, not this guy. Double damage for this is because if his health was like low,
Another
boom,
abomination.
he was healed twice
cleansed
there.
from our
7 and
lands.
14 on that round.
Eradicated.
You don't get no turn now. Alright, I still want to make sure he's capped up. He's our time to be in full health. Yeah, good reason for it. Yeah, this guy's a jerk, and again, he's almost always in the back. Our buffs are wearing off for the team buffs from him. So we may want to apply those. Really? See, this is the problem. So now I have a choice. I could like single target and kill this guy. And we can kill this guy if it hits. But then I need to still apply the buff. So do you damage or do you buff? That's really
Their
same heal.
formation is
Heal or do you do
Maintain the offensive.
an attack? And hope the attack lands and kills off the target.
Destroyed.
Yeah. Alrighty. Again. Go this way.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. Annihilated.
Nice hit. Now I can start the bleed on this guy.
Masterfully
Crit,
executed.
no less. Oh, pretty. Good dodge. I'm gonna try to capitalize on some damage. He's healed up well enough, I think, at this point. I don't really need to worry about it. I'll try like team heal in a sec. Now this is ideal for him. That double move, this guy's not stealth in the front. This guy is. I can hit both of them because of his move. Same with his AoE move. I can hit this guy and this guy. The only reason he'll get hit is because even though he has stealth, I'm hitting a guy who isn't. So this AoE move, I can hit here and here, or here and here with these two characters. Even this one, if I had his skill equipped, I could hit here and here. So, really nice and useful. Very versatile ways to wipe out those jerks. At this point, I do want that team heal, though. Mostly because I want it topped off. Nice dodge. Now here's the thing. If I attack him with this, I will probably kill him. Well, if it crits, I'll kill him. Which is a problem, because I wanted him... Well, no. If it crits, it'll wipe him out. And then they'll slide. Oh, okay, let's try it. Yeah, okay. If anything, that's better to make sure that he dies.
Precision and
move.
power.
Nice. Stress move. Nice dodge. We've been getting really lucky on the dodges.
Unnerved.
Ah, it's so lucky on that
unbalanced.
melee, though. I really need to start putting the stress down. But I need to buff again. We get lucky he'll crit here.
Decimated.
There we go. Has some stress relief. Not a lot, but 6 of 6. There we go. We're not doing bad. I think we're totally out of here. Yeah, I was hoping for a kill. Should have probably just stress healed. Oh well. I want to start off with a nice round. Boo. Come on, give me a campfire. Some infection. Some food. I'll take
Safe
food.
from
Food
the
will work.
comet's maddening light. For now.
Single target heal. Screw it. Again, that's it. I'm not saving them for any particular reason anymore, because I know this is a doomed expedition at some point here. We already got a disease. We're going to get, like, more. I'll try to take it as far as I can, but... Nice. Bleed skill chances up. Healing skills are up.
Trapped
There's
in a
bleed
twisted
chances are up.
refraction.
Oh, that sucks. And crits are up. Ooh, that's going to suck. Alright, I may want to stay in this form for the time being. Because of AoE damage like this. And his move will really peter out level 2, or position 2 and position 3 really fast. Nice double dodge, guys. That's yeah, that was gonna hit. I know. That mark, man. That's why this guy really sucks. But oh, you dodged. Over here, bitch. Alright. You can't directly target her neither, because of that. But I can't start targeting him, so might as well start willing him down. He is a pagan. Yeah, that move. That move sucks. I always forget about that. And she has like healing move, healing move, healing move. So to do anything with her until that thing is gone, I need to have her in position 3.
A brilliant confluence of skill and purpose.
I'm gonna stun him.
Impressive.
Yeah, there we go. Flight takes that thing out of me, so I'm happy with that. Good dodge. Your job.
The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
Alright. Whip it. Whip it good. Nice. We got our healing abilities back. Let's start working on that stretch with him, shall we? I do like the Endless Harvest. I think this is specifically made for those of us that were cheese monsters to begin with. I mean, really, it is amazing. I do enjoy seeing how high I can get that number. But it wasn't too long ago, I was literally getting into like the 40s and 50s, and that was it. Stuff starts coming together, you start seeing what you need. And some of it is really bad luck. Like, I've had very fortunate luck, but I will say that that virtue cheese is extremely useful. I think if they wanted to prevent, and I hate to say this out loud because I don't want to ruin anyone else's fun, but if they wanted to remove virtue cheese of this magnitude, they would make these rings one-hit wonders. Once they make you virtuous, or once you have a roll even, so if it doesn't work, the ring breaks, it just shatters off you and you have an empty slot. I think that would be funny. Then people would have to bring in 4 virtue rings, 1 for each character, and then hope that trinkets fall that they can use. You can see right now I have only 1 good trinket that's teammates, well 2, sorry, that's useful. This one is not useful in any way because no resolve is only really good. I did find this one though as well. So I had 2 trinkets that have dropped that are reasonably useful for the team. One is the sniper's ring, and one is this. This one could be used, but again, it's torchlight dependent, and I think the torchlight in here is considered always 100%, so I'm fairly certain that this one is useless here. Oh, sucks. Still, see how long it didn't take long to get him over 100. Oh, really? Come on now, he's buffed. Demon.
Sedated.
He'll be dead. I hate that move too. Can't remember if that one does a disease sometimes. I want to say it does. I really need to start working at his health / stress. He needs some loving too here. Yeah, it's not going to add to it. At least he resisted. He did not. The spider just showed up in the front. That's a little weird. But okay. I'm going to heal / stress you. And again, this move is extremely useful, I mean, especially if you give some kind of buff to it, to that healing. One of the other party compositions I was considering, Battle Vestal here, position 2, because she can do the AoE heals still, which I find extremely valuable when the team gets hit with like those Ring of Whips where everyone's on death's door. Her ability to heal everybody with one move is extremely valuable. She would be missing her single target amazing heal. So that means Occultist, or in my opinion, Musketeer / Arbalist in position 4 perhaps could be extremely valuable. You'd still probably want your Jester. If you didn't want the Jester because you wanted something else in position 3 or 4, which is fair, I would say insist you probably have to take a Crusader for single target heals, single target stress heals, and that one move will be invaluable to keeping someone alive long enough that the stress is not that much of a concern. Having said that, though, I can see you need a Jester, you must have a Jester. You don't have to do anything. Just, you can manage the stress, you can manage the stress. Critting enough is sometimes enough to get the stress back down. You'd be surprised at how useful critting is. I had so many crit tests on this team at one point where everyone was swinging, everybody was critting, and the stress was just constantly peeling off, and people were dying so fast on the other side.
For the slightest lapse in concentration.
That I could heal off of that same type of stress. Because of the bleed, it's going to start to pile on me, and I have no anti-bleed. I mean, I have holy water, but it's kind of after the fact healing.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
Every time you apply that, by the way, it's a stress, incoming stress debuff, buff, I guess. So, incoming stress is minus 20% block. There you go. And that is helpful, more than you think. There is a character that can team buff like that, though, and that is the Man-at-Arms. He has a move that I want to say like 10% or 15% stress decrease for the team for X number of rounds. Very cool. Now that we have 2 targets, I'm okay with this because it's a better chance to crit. And it finally starts doing some damage to these guys, like I need.
A momentary abatement.
Healing up. Oh shit. Because I really need AoE bleeds if I need to. I'm missing out on damage potential. He can shuffle us, he can disease us too, give us the wound. Let's dodge.
Knowing uncertainty.
Or on her is really not that big of a
Birthplace
deal.
of dread.
He is protected 40%, so he is a little tougher than normal. He does not do well against the bleeds, though. There we are. Between these two guys, we're going to now murder things like crazy with this AoE blight bleed damage. You have no idea how helpful that can be. Just because I wanted to heal her anyway.
Exposed to a
dead
killing
next turn.
blow.
Boy, that was not a real good start. Oh. So she can't, it doesn't need to heal / stress heal a little. We'll take it all the way to the boss fight and cut the video at that point. I just want to show you guys what you're in for. It's extremely fun. They have changed other things too. I want to say that the farther you go up, they start adding different effects that really impact your characters really negatively and buff the bad guys a lot. So no more of this 2,000 kill runs are going to be there. I mean, if they do, I'll be amazed. Not that they shouldn't try. I don't think it's going to
champion
happen.
falls.
Double kill. We heal him just on the off chance we don't get a heal.
Prodigious size
You know,
alone
camp out.
does not
Thank God they
dissuade the
did this shit where
sharpened
once it's finally time to go, you don't just leave. You do get your chance to heal. He needs a big one. I'm reasonably okay. So we're probably talking
Place of
boss fight now.
refuge, if only for a fleeting moment.
This is the reason you bring keys with you on this. I've yet to see a shovel use. I could be mistaken. If you guys know of a shovel use in here that does work, I'll happily bring one and test it. I don't think there is one. I think they should have had one, like the rock pile should have been a shovel interaction, I think, and have it be more stress or team stress relief at that point instead of just the hammer that they leave behind for you to smash the rocks and relieve stress that way. But meh, either way, the key here works.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Wasn't a camp out, but next best thing, big pile of food. I already have one, and I honestly would rather have more food just in case this fight, if I get lucky, beat this boss and we go on further. I am, of course, keeping the virtue ring, as you can see, the hero's ring. In case someone gets 100 or 200% affliction, they will lose all their stress and they will lose that positive virtue, which means they'll have to re-cheese them back up. But well, everything else can go. I mean, I want to keep, obviously, the memory. Blazing light. Oh, not this dickhead. Oh, yeah, we're lower
Trapped
screen.
in a twisted refraction.
Alright. Oh, he explodes people. You don't want to attack this. I found that out the hard way. We do not have a guard move, where we can literally guard someone and make this explosion inconsequential, so we're done. I'm not losing people to this ignorance, and I'm not losing trinkets to it neither. But you see how well we did? We got a lot of money for that. And it does not progress the time in the hamlet, I've noticed. Now, whether it moves the time forward, but the people don't rest at the inn or whatever, maybe that's all it is. A lot of corpses. 273, my best yet. And I get some of these shards. They're going to take some because they're mercenaries. 3 of them were. She was not. Well, he got disease out of it. When did he get a disease? I don't recall that. I think this happened.
We dug for months, years, an eternity.
Oh, he got the worries.
And we were rewarded with madness.
Yeah, they took 78 of my shards because we had 3 mercenaries with us. Well, it's fine. That's why I had brought one less mercenary. Normally I had Karen coming with us, and she's fine. Excuse me. Karen does a good job, but she has some negative quirks that I have yet to get rid of, and her positive quirks will never get any better. This is pretty much her list. I don't expect her to ever do anything beyond that. Just to give you an idea what kind of teams I have here. This is the 6 that I picked from the mercenary pool. I have tried things with, again, the Musketeer for that single target heal. Mark Party was appealing at some point, but I didn't have anyone that could benefit from it except for my Grave Robber. And again, Grave Robber for this skill here, Snuff Box, remove diseases. Extremely useful. She does good AoE damage. She does good piercing damage. She has accuracy buff, increased damage versus marked target, so there is some synergy there. You almost want her though in position 2, because again you still want to bring your Jester, and that's not a bad position for her to be in. It's just her hit points are not anything to write home about. Her dodge is nice, and you can buff that, and that is helpful. If you're doing Shadow Fade moves, you can do some real fun, because him and her can have a really nice interaction of juggling back and forth. But then it's who's going to be in the front row. So again, Crusader is appealing. I've toyed with Abomination in the front. I've toyed with, of course, my own Leper. I have tried a Mark Party once, and it went well for a while, and then it tanked real fast. I had a, where is he? Howland Master. You see here, he did not do well. He got the runs. But he was a nice Mark Party. He had self-healing. He had some stress healing sometimes, maybe, for the team. He had a lot of AoE damage. And man, Hound's hairy. Oh, let me tell you. You can have some fun with this on a team that's bleed sensitive. This dude just tears them apart with those bleeds. I was just doing so much damage per round because of the bleed ticks from Hound's Harry that he was like a god for a while. The damage, initial damage was piss, but I didn't need it to be anything amazing. It needed to be everyone gets bleeded, everyone gets bleeded. And this one here, I think it's weird that Hound's Rush, while does great damage, does crap-tastic bleed damage. You'd think it'd be at least the same as this one, 3 points per round. It's only single target. I mean, hell, dude, that's kind of lame sauce, I think. But it's what it is. He has a nice camping skills, but nothing that you're really going to want to be like, ooh, I must click this, because you don't have nighttime ambushes in the farmstead. For all I know, I've never had it happen. Let me just say it that way. It's never happened before that I've seen. He has a okay stun. It's pretty good actually, but you got to have him in position 2 or 1 for that, and usually you want him in 2 or 3. I find his guard moves are useful. His self-healing is useful, so he's got a lot of utility here. I tried a party here. Let me actually just put together the party that I toyed with. I had him. I had him. I had. Oh, I don't have. There we go. I had a Hound Master, and who did I have? The last one was one of these guys. Something like this once. Self-healer / stress healer. Self-healer / stress healer for himself. Self-healer, guarder, stress healer for the team, maybe. That has actually been extremely helpful sometimes. But not, since it's a chance of, it's almost like having an occultist chance of healing. It's this chance of stealth healing is kind of meh. And you can't pick who gets healed. It's just one guy, all the guys, none of the guys. It's just random as all hell. Her single target heal, while not anything to write home about, can heal anybody, including yourself, thank God, and it provides a healing buff. So these guys that can self-heal, really heal now. He can heal himself with that lame-ass move of his, but when you start stacking that self-heal, or that healing buff on him, like a couple applications, even if he's really low, he can heal with just Inspiring Cry like no one's business. And if you were to go battle heal route, him battle healing, her healing, them healing themselves, you got a pretty good healing party. There's no disease resistance in this, or removal on this party though. Again, one of the reasons it was a failure, which is why you saw the Houndmaster up here, who has diseases, and I think that's probably why he has a disease. He probably was with that party as well, because I brought him. Oh yeah, she was here too. So you got the ague. No, that was from my last party. That was the last one we used to. Yeah. But Reynaldo's probably there. He'd probably have vertigo. So it was. I tried something different, and you should always try different things. But she's really helpful. Her ability to remove diseases from a companion as well as cure her own disease right here is extremely helpful. If you don't have her, you probably, if you want a really long one, you probably want to take someone like the Grave Robber, who is, again, it has the snuff box. It's an odd duck. I mean, the farmstead is really different. It's fun. It's definitely fun. I honestly find it more enjoyable sometimes than the game. It's frustrating as hell still too. So when you get those triple crits on the first character on your team, and you're like, seriously, I just walk into this dungeon. It'll drive you insane, but it's super fun to play. The thing that's holding me back a lot in this particular LP is I don't have a ton of trinkets. I got a lot, don't get me wrong, but I don't have ones that I would be like, wow, I needed that one. I mean, like the Dark Tambourine, I'm never using that damn thing. I can't think of a place that's going to be dark that I'm going to want to go, and then I'm going to have a Dark Tambourine Jester with me, because that's just going to be nuts. Well, if anything, I take that back. If you're going to go on a dark run for like money, you'd probably want to take a Jester, because the stress is going to pile up fast. His ability to remove it will be helpful. So this trinket would be of use. But then again, like the places like the farmstead or the courtyard where the light is a set amount, and I don't think that it's considered below 26% on those places, so you're pretty much screwed using any trinket that's based on low light levels, or any quirk that's based on low light levels. That's a positive quirk, obviously. I am steadily working towards making complete, trinket sets from the Crimson Court. I find some to be extremely useful. I mean, look at this one here. Healing skills increased. Healing skills while camping is increased. Stress, just straight up incoming stress, is lowered by having this trinket. And if you have the companion trinket with it, you get a permanent 25% protection bump to that character. That's a fourth damage just erased, not counting blights and bleeds. So again, there are some trinket sets that are useful. I want to say that the Plague Doctor has a set that's amazing as well. Yeah, bleed skill chance, increased damage, blight skill and stun skill is increased a little bit, which is extremely helpful. I forget what the other side does, but it's all pluses on the other side as well. And she's interesting in that she has the ability, at least in position 3 or 2, to blight and bleed, or bleed a target. So incision / either plague grenade or noxious blast should be on her kit. I'd probably have battlefield medicine as well, because if you're going to have her here, you can at least heal herself, someone else, get them off death's door, remove that blight or bleed. Therefore, your supplies are lasting longer. You do get supplies dropped in the farmstead sometimes. But that's why you bring a stack of keys, to make sure that you get the best possible supplies. Trinkets are an odd duck, and this is really where the planning of this game comes into play. It's not just the skills, because when you get like me in this particular LP, or in this particular save file, I should say, just to show you what I'm talking about, you'll have characters that I've maxed out. They have everything. They literally have everything. The only thing that I probably haven't done for everybody is give them all their sleeping skills, their camping skills, because some of them are just kind of dumb. I would probably never bring these things. Maybe if I had no choice, like there was nothing else that they had up in a unique 4 that was going to be useful in the farmstead, I may unlock or use one of these ones just to, because you can always equip 4, right? So wound care can be helpful sometimes. Pep talk can be helpful sometimes. And that 2-point cost, there's very good chance that after burning all your respite points, you still have 2 points left. Why not give some teammate a stress relief buff? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of good gravy there. But yeah, you could really have a lot of fun. I've made a lot of different compositions. Still have yet to try the Occultist. I don't have my own, since you can only have 6 mercenaries. Every time I check my stagecoach, like I'm going to check right now, I get people that I'm like, well, but if they're mercenaries, you want them to have good quirks from the start and not so many negative quirks that it's going to be a problem. You see, they give you everything at level 5. You give you all the armor and weapon at level 5, so you don't have to invest money in that. They're just spending your shards when you earn them, but only the ones you earn. So I'm cool with that. I'm going to go up as long as I'm successful anyway, so you can make any skill pick you want at that point, and you can pick any of the 4 camping skills you can equip at that point when you get a mercenary. So it's kind of nice to do it. The downside is you're very limited in the fact that you only pick 6. So if I like most of these guys, and I've invested money in locking in quirks and removing negative ones, I have to have a really good reason to delete someone like her who I've locked in spiritual, because she, her healing is, incoming is so much better, or her hard skin, so she always has protection because she has such bad hit points. I really wanted her to always resist some damage. So why do I want him other than I want to try a new party composition? I'll just level up my own Occultist and make sure he has the quirks that I hopefully want for him to have. This one's not bad. Daredevil is kind of interesting. Low hit points and he dodges better. It's kind of nice. I almost want to lock something like that in. Photomania, the torchlight is considered high in that level anyway, so incoming stress is decent. He has meh damage, meh hit points, dodge is decent. Speed's good. I will say his speed is good. The fact that he can do weird reconstruction in any position, it makes him at least useful if he gets shuffled. That bleed, though, man, just pisses me off. He has some utility in making marks, debuffing targets, pulling things, removing corpses. His sacrificial stab alone is an amazing amount of damage, actually. You'd be surprised how often you'll kill things with this, with that crit mod. 13% crit mod is pretty darn huge. So he is fun. I will definitely try him, but I'm not going to burn up one of my better characters to bring one in. Same with the Houndmaster. I mean, they'd have to have something really like woohoo amazing over here to make me go, wow, I should take that guy. But again, I do check them. I have yet to really like the Flagellant in the farmstead. That's not to say that he's bad. And some people may love the fact that he can heal over time even, which is kind of nice. Bleed in the back rows as well as the front rows. He has some uses. I find it weird that his camping skills are only the 4. I guess it's because he's considered a loner, so he doesn't do the teammate buffs. The 3, was it stress relief, the healing of a teammate, or the stress reduction of a teammate. So maybe that's why. But it kind of sucks. And he can't, as far as I know, he never has a positive virtue chance. As far as I know. If anyone knows differently, let me know. But I have always hit him with Rapturous. I just assumed it was an automatic thing. He will just go batshit crazy when he gets that stress up to 100. If that is incorrect, then that maybe I should try the virtue cheese on him, because he is interesting for damage and for bleeding. But I still can't justify losing one of my better characters for that. But I've rambled on long enough for this. But I just want to show you guys what this newest farmstead is about. How much fun you can actually have. Why people are ranting and raving about it. It is interesting. It really is interesting. You don't know how long you'll be there, so you provision. I would suggest, if it makes sense bringing it, bring everything. If you have the money, there's no reason to. And if you get a successful arm like I just did, I consider that one a success. I made 40 grand off that. I mean, this is why I have as much money as I do here, besides the fact I have the bank. But again, the the going there did not progress the time. I still have characters that are in the medical ward. I never put them there. I put them there weeks ago, or missions ago, I should say. The week has not progressed as far as I know. So that's kind of a nice way for you to, it's another good point. It's a nice way for you to make some money and not progress your clock. So for those of you trying at the hardest difficulty of the Darkest Dungeon, I forget what it's called, but it's the 3rd one. The hardest difficulty has a time limit. I don't think going to the farmstead limits that time. That's a good way for you to like stockpile some money early on if you get a good team. Once you unlock this ability to get these mercenaries, get a good mercenary pool going, and every other week rotate, you know, them peeling off their stress and diseases, going back to the farmstead, trying another successful run where you make 20, 30, 40 G's, doesn't progress the time forward, and you made some cash. That'd be a good way for you to make sure you complete that hardest difficulty. But with that, we should probably end the video here. My name is Brothermutant. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, tell your friends about this channel if you guys think they'd be interested, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye now.